This is Cathorin of Ravenholt General.
Dusk of Ravenholt General.
This is Dad of Ravenholt.
Alright, and you are listening to the Kek YOself podcast, where we talk about just normal stuff of everyday life Ravenholt. How's it going today, Dust?
Going pretty good, just doing BGs on my hunter. I've discovered Beastmaster just rapes mages, but pretty much sucks against anything else when you're not in PvP gear.
Okay, I'm glad you said we're not in PvP gear, because BMs are a powerhouse at the moment, with being able to blow all the cooldowns and stampede at once. Not much can live against a BM one-on-one.
Yeah, a geared BM, but I've only been 90 like a few hours of playtime, so still not anywhere getting near geared.
Dad, what you been up to, man?
Getting my ass handed to me and everything.
Well, that's pretty normal for you, man.
Even on the auction house. You'd think that I'd sell something, but no.
Well, what have you been trying to put on the auction house? Because you kind of got to have a market for it.
I mean, it's like everywhere. I did sell my vegetables, but that's about.
Oh, you're talking like the carrots and stuff you have farmed down at your farm? There in Half Hill?
Great way to make gold, quick and easy. They just need to change the name of it from the farm to the Your Personal Gold Mine if you know what the hell you're doing.
Well, come on, isn't it already? It's a farm. What do you do for gold? You go out and farm. Oh yeah. There comes a time when you gotta ask yourself, is it more profitable to farm vegetables or to farm the sunbells? Now I know neither one of you two have the people up where you can farm, motes of harmony. I don't think. Dusk, you might. I know Dadwood don't. But
yeah, my druid can get motes.
Yeah, well, your druid's an alchemist, herbalist. It don't count. It can't do shit with the motes anyway.
Hey, I'll have you know, that is how every person in our raid groups gets flasks, okay? Otherwise, I would cut you guys off from the flask supply.
But no, seriously, like my leather worker, Kath, I can take the motes, the 1.6 spirits I get per day, and save them up by the contenders patterns. And the contenders are pretty good at making money real quick too. But let's see, you got 8 pieces in each of the 4 sets, 32 after 32 spirits. I ain't even gonna try to break that down in how many days of just doing the farm, cause hell, you get motes from everywhere else also. But after buying the 32 recipes, you think it's still more profitable to make the veggies or the motes?
Well, those motes, that's long term to get everything that you want for content. The vegetable, pretty quick, so very fast. You can do whatever you want. So I'd say vegetable, more profitable.
Okay. Now, I've made a blog on this over ravenholtgeneral.wordpress.com. Vegetables will make you a little bit of gold on a daily basis, but everybody can do vegetables, so you really got to watch your markets on this. Carrots provide agility. At the moment, we got monks, rogues, druids, hunters, enhanced chamois, all looking for agility. So yeah, the carrots are a good choice. But there are a couple other vegetables that are worth looking into.
Plus, you're going to have your people that camp the auction house every day, and they're going to be noticing what's selling for high, what's selling for low, and if they notice, carrots are making a little bit of money right now, I'm going to throw these up and undercut for like a gold, since they only sell for like under 10. So you really got to be careful with your market strategy.
Screw that, Dust. If someone throws a bunch of carrots up there at 1 gold a piece, you buy them all out, put them back up there for 3.
I've been doing that too. Matter of fact, that's how I got full 800 carrots. Excuse me.
But you gotta understand, turnover versus, how much is on the market. What are those things actually called? Juicy Crunch carrot?
Mm-hmm.
Give me one moment to load up the stock market report here. Yeah, it looks like on Thursdays are a bad day to be putting carrots on the auction house. Thursdays around 4 in the afternoon and Saturdays around 8. Hold on, no, that's morning time. Thursdays 4 in the morning and Saturdays around 8 in the morning. See a large amount of traffic on carrots. Likewise, Monday and Saturday through the evening are bad times for carrots on the auction house.
No, I was just saying I hate that because those are the days I'm free.
Speaking of the auction house, am I the only one noticing, at least on Ravenholt, that there's a severe lack of fish?
Well, the thing is, nobody wants to fish. Fish is the, undisclosed gold mine of WoW. Even back in Wrath with the Fish Feast, fish just sells. You do have to watch which fish you're going after, because some of them are worthless and some of them are, a dime a dozen.
Well, it's like you can buy golden carp with an iron pot token. Doesn't take much to get, and you can buy 5.
Thank you for bringing up Iron Paw tokens, Daduit. I have found an easy way if you want to farm Iron Paw tokens. Go down to Krasarang Wilds and fish up the fire salmon. Or whatever their name is. I forget, I'm terrible with names. But they're only really used for a handful of cooking recipes. If you're not a healer, you really don't need the cooking recipe for spirit. Or, unless you're supplying a guildie with spirit food. So what I've found is, go out, farm you up the fishing item that allows you to catch extra fish from pools, fly down to Krasarang, fish up the fire salmon, and then turn them into Ironpaw tokens. Because you figure you'll be getting 5, 10 out of a pool, somewhere between there. With your trinket, you're making that, between 10 and 20 fish per pool. 20 fish to turn into an Ironpaw token. You can get 5 Ironpaw tokens easy with maybe 20, 30 minutes worth of work.
Likewise, since we are on this subject, Valley of Four Winds is a bit better of a place to be farming this. There's 2 spots actually. One's Turtle Pond over by the Pools of Purity, and the other is there in the Singing Marshes, just on the other side of the hill where you do your dailies for the tillers. One you're killing turtles, one you're killing birds. The birds, of course, are going to drop you the wildfowl meat. The turtles dropping you the turtle meat. 20 of those turns in for an Ironpaw token. And not only that, but unlike the fishing, you're going to be getting greens that can be disenchanted. You're going to be getting crap that can, be vendored. You're going to be getting a little bit of coins off of it. And you'll still be finding your motes of harmony. Fishing may be quicker, but if you're looking to make the most out of your time, I would actually go farm the meats, Dusk.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with you. The greens and everything you can get off the creatures is good, but for money-wise reasons, since we started this off with the auction house talk, I'm still going to say, fishing always makes the money, and it'll be slightly faster. So if you're doing it for Ironpaw tokens, I'd say fishing will be a better choice. Because like I said, I'm talking about the one specific fish that's pretty much useless, and so no one ever fishes it. So the pools of it just kind of continually spawn, and everyone skips over them. So depending on what day it is, if a healer's gone fishing or not, you're gonna get a lot more of them. But, yeah, I lost my train of thought on that one.
Well, I'll step in and help you out here. Don't forget, you don't have to take time to go fishing. You don't have to take time to go slaughter a bunch of innocent little critters. Go to the auction house. And this will save you a lot of time and effort, especially if you're an engineer with the auction house up there in the shrine. Go to the auction house and look for these meats, because most of the time these meats are a dime a dozen on the auction house. Maybe not the fish, but like the wildfowl breast, the turtle meat, some of the other miscellaneous ones you can usually pick up real cheap, cheaper than what the vegetables go for. You know, you say you spend 20 gold on a stack of meat, get an iron paw token out of it, buy your 25 carrots, seeing how we already were talking about the carrot. And carrots sell for 3 gold a piece is a good price, you know. That's 75 gold. You spent 20, so you made 55 gold in, what, 10 minutes effort flying from the shrine to the market and back?
Yeah, decent chunk of change. But I don't know. I'm still gonna say go with the fish, just because the meats can actually be put to good use. I'm actually logging over to my druid, who's my alchemist and cook, and also my raid tank, and I'm gonna check what recipes exactly you can use this stuff for, and we can actually discuss which recipes hold weight and which ones are, you know, pretty much just useless after you level through them.
Well, after you level through them, if all you're doing is trying to raise your cooking, they're going to be useless no matter what. The only thing that makes a recipe worth its while is if it provides your character or one of your alts the buff they need, or if it provides your raid party the buff they need. Of course, I'm talking feast. You know, after that, throw them on the auction house. You know, you may find somebody who doesn't have their cooking leveled yet, or doesn't want to take the time to go farm the mass to make it. But really, the usefulness of the item comes from how much benefit your character is going to gain.
Very true. Unless you're an altaholic like me, in which case then you always want to have a max level cook so you can feed your alts as you level them and grind dungeons to level. Until you get to 90 when cooking becomes easy as pie. Oh, and I'm looking at my recipes here. It is the Emperor Salmon that is only used for spirit and whatnot. The recipe is Fire Spirit Salmon.
One moment, it looks like our AFK DK needs to be pulled back to this channel.
Yeah, Daduit is notorious in the guild for just randomly going AFK at serious times. Another easy way you could make gold using your farm is level Way of the Brew. Easiest tree to level in my opinion. Gonna cost you a bit of gold at first, since ginseng, you know, can only be purchased, and they're about 3 gold and a couple silver a piece. So you make those, then you get your Jade Witch Brew, which will require witch berries and jade squash. Both can be easily farmed from your farm, just a couple days, and you'll have your cooking leveled. After that, you got your 2 options of the Banquet or the Great Banquet. Now both those just require green cabbage and witch berries, 50 apiece or 100 apiece. Again, easily enough farmed from your farm, like a day or 2, depending on your rep and the size of your farm. If you have a full farm, you could do a couple feasts a day, probably, if you do it right. Plus, if you're doing what we're telling you, using the auction house, getting your iron paw tokens, you're going to be cranking them out even faster, and you're going to be making more profit. Because I've seen feasts bounce up to like 100 and some gold a piece. So you figure day or two's worth of work through.
Not to interrupt you here, but I currently have, you know, them up. The banquets at the moment are going anywhere from 25 gold to 50 gold a piece.
Wow, someone butchered the market. Terrific.
Yeah, no, Butcher the Market is the couple here, and I'll name them. Of the brew, because I know you were just talking about that one, of the steamer, and of the grill, which are all below 5 gold apiece. The average auction house price for the past 2 weeks of the brew has been 15 gold, and the steamer has been 21 gold. Yeah, but that's because people don't, actually sit and think about what it takes to make the brews, make the feast in general. And if you got somebody like that who just trying to make a quick buck, it's going to throw off the report that I'm looking at. So,
Yeah, well. Okay then, if you want to make feasts and keep your raid happy and your guild happy, go with that, because apparently, the auction house ain't the best place for feasts at the moment. But I'm sure that the market will go back up, here in a patch or two when we start to get more raids. Speaking of that seems to be a problem I've noticed, at least with Ravenhold. I don't know about other servers, since we all play strictly on Ravenhold, is people do not seem to understand they need to let go of the past. For example, a new raid patch will come out and something will be selling like hotcakes for a week or two, since you got all your hardcore raiders trying to do it and fresh, and people doing LFRs to get experience with it. And then like 2-3 weeks later, after everyone's got the hang of it and they don't need all the items and stuff as much anymore, people are still trying to make big amounts of money for them off the auction house, and all they're really doing is driving the price lower and lower by trying to make their price higher and higher, because people are just going to keep undercutting them, and it's a massive problem. Either of you noticed that?
I'm not sure exactly where you're going with this, Dusk. What are we exactly talking about?
Well, we're talking about, we were talking about feasts and the auction house and all this other stuff. And I'm just letting people know, when a raid patch comes out, yeah, you're going to want to sell your feasts and all your mats at a higher price, because more people are going to need them for the new content. They're going to need their flasks and food buffs and crafting materials for the new epic recipes and whatnot. But you gotta pay attention. You don't want to sit there and have leather at like couple hundred a stack all the time. Yeah, it'd be nice, but you're going to get those type of prices when a new patch comes out. And that's the point
I can't
I'm
go
trying
with
to
you
make.
on this, though. I can't go with you on this because the price on the auction house, this is a free economic system, and it is only deterred by the demand of the item. When new patches come out, yes, the demand increases, but the supply of them, if it does not increase, the prices will always stay high no matter what tier you're in. Now, if your supplies increase, then of course your demand should, by theory, decrease and your prices go down. It's like currently I'm trying to gather a couple mats for an old enchant for my Lobby warrior, put on his weapons, and there's one on the auction house. Now I need 4 of the item I'm looking for. There's only one on the auction house, and it's 20 gold apiece. This is an OC item with about a 15% drop rate out of mobs in the Dire Maul. Extremely easy to farm. The point is, no one does it, and because I don't want to waste time, I would pay that amount of money. But, seeing how there's only one instead of the 8 I need, I have to go farm it myself. But this isn't just a money-making podcast, so how about we move the subject on a little bit here? Keep things going.
Alrighty, well, what should we talk? What should we tell the folks about next, Kath? Because me, Kath, and Daduit, and our guild, we we all PvP, PvE, we do a little bit of everything. We're not hardcore raiders, we're not hardcore PvPers. We do everything, and we're good at most of it.
Well, we are fair at most of it. But I want to go on something a bit more interesting here. Let's look ahead. 5.2 has been announced. Return of the Thunder King. This is going to be a hell of an expansion because the raid that they're going to be introducing, the Throne of Thunder, is supposed to be the size of Udalar, or Udalar, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Yep, and as we all know, Ulduar is one of the biggest raids we've probably ever seen.
Yeah. So far, what we've got announced on the raid is Emperor Lushan, the Thunder King, has returned to wreak his revenge on Panda. It falls to us, the heroes of the Alliance and the Horde, to stop the newly resurrected tyrant and his Zandalari allies. Yes, the trolls still play a part in this.
I just want them to die. Why don't they just die?
Yeah, don't feed the trolls, though, but they always come back, right? Trade troll.
Did somebody say Thunder Fury, blessed blade of the trade troll?
No, no one said Thunder Fury, blessed blade of the trade troll. But the Throne of Thunder is a sprawling citadel housing 12 new raid encounters and allowing players that defeat the Emperor in heroic mode will be able to earn the opportunity to face an additional 13th foe. Oh, here it is. People can finally start bitching again. You remember Raytheon the Black Prince? Yeah, he just screwed us over once again. And I'll read this. The legendary quest continues. Raytheon must know the origin and source of the Mogu power, and Azrath's mightiest heroes will aid the Black Prince in finding out what it is. The search for information will take the players into the depths of the Thunder King's palace, pitting them against trials of perseverance and skill. Along the way, they'll unlock the secrets to a new headgear enchantment, the Crown of the Heavens. So they are listening to all the people bitching about head enchants being removed, and they're giving you a whole new quest to have to grind in order to get your head enchant.
For those of you that don't know, Blizzard actually removed Arcanums, or head enchantments, from the game because way too many people back in Cata were bitching and moaning because in order to get most of them, you had to do the entire Deepholm questline and get your rep up with Therazane in order to buy them from them. Which I will never understand why people had a problem with it. I personally think the Deepholm questline is very enjoyable, fun, and easy. But, you know, people are gonna bitch no matter what. And now, people are bitching that head enchants are gone and we're missing an enchant slot. And now we have them back in the game. Only instead of just having to grind one little rep questline, no, now you have to get all your raid gear up and do a raid. Thank you, Blizzard.
Looks like we're getting two new world bosses. People have been talking about it. They thought we were only going to get one. Looks like we're going to get two of them. Nalek the Stormlord. The second one being Undasta.
Yeah, I can't wait to fight these new world bosses. Sound pretty interesting. I still have yet to fight Galleon. I've seen him fought, but just seems like every time he's up, the Horde on our server beat us to him, so doubt we'll ever see him. On the subject of world bosses, if you feel like having a little bit of fun, or you have your faction wanting to do a Shaw of Anger, and the opposing faction has a raid group already there, but it's still forming and yours is on its way, easy way to piss off the opposing faction: fly straight through the Shaw. You'll aggro him, he'll be tagged to you, he will smack you once, and once you're out of aggro range, he will disappear for a couple minutes. Somewhere between 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and then he'll respawn, which gives your raid group time enough to get there and tag him and eliminate the opposing faction if you can. Or if you just want to piss them off because you have no raid group, that's a good way to do it.
Change positions, as in location, might move to a totally different part of the line.
I've never seen him move a location, but I'm not going to say he won't. But I got a better one for you. The new world boss system. All world bosses are now tapped to faction. This new system offers every eligible player of the same faction that engages a boss the chance to earn loot. Under the new system, players will only be able to earn loot from each world boss once per week, but bonus rolls do apply. Bosses will now respawn more frequently as well.
Shaw artery spawns every 30 minutes.
I don't think they're necessarily meaning the Shaw. I think they might mean Galleon, because you got to remember the tier pieces that these two bosses that we have drop at the moment are going to be outdated. And you're only going to be looking for them to help you get to LFRs to get into the current tier.
And it's really nice that they made it to where it's faction based now instead of raid only based, because you always have these little 89s or 87s questing out in Kunlai, or that are just walking by for some reason when the Shaw's up, ask for a raid invite. Oh, you're not 90, go away. So now if your Lobby wants, to get the quest item and everything off of him, you're more than welcome to do it now. That is a good move on Blizzard's part. But then again, you know me, anything that benefits my alts in any way is always good.
Hell yeah. I'm reading the 5.2 changes that are being announced at the moment, reading the Hunter, because who cares about any other class? And you gotta listen to this. They are taking away our glyph of marked death, because that ability
Do they
is now
say
baseline.
why?
Because the ability is now baseline.
Really? So all our abilities are just naturally going to apply Hunter's Mark?
No. Just those three.
Well, that's what I meant.
And we're getting a new glyph of liberation. The glyph now causes disengage to heal the hunter for 5% its max health when used.
Very nice. That's going to help out a lot of raiders and a lot of PvPers. I imagine that is going to sell for a crap ton of gold on the auction house when this patch hits.
Now, I'm not going to read through the rest of these at the moment because, time limits and whatnot. And I just read on it because, hell, we all have hunters. At least, the three of us talking to. We'll get to the rest of y'all's classes later. We'll probably do druids last. Don't want to touch none of that feral mange. That's just been going around.
Hey.
It's bad.
Don't be knocking my druid. Yeah, since our listeners don't quite know us that well yet, me and Kath are severe altaholics. I just got my 3rd level 90 earlier today. I have 9 alts that are over level 85, and I have 2 lower alts, a 43 monk and a 33 priest. I actually think I might level the priest a little bit later on today, but yeah, we touched on hunters a little bit tonight, but we will be covering every class at some point or another during one of our podcasts. Just a matter of time till we get to you.
You've been listening to Kek YOself. Again, this has been Cathorin of Ravenholt General.
Dusk of Ravenholt General.
And the AFKDK Dadwit.
And remember, Kek yourself before you wreck yourself.